So today's video is the video that you've all been asking for, and that is my labour story. I'm just going to make this as brief as possible. I don't want to bore you. If you are pregnant and due to have a baby soon, I would suggest not watching this video because this isn't a positive birth story by any means, and I don't want to freak anyone out. But yeah, I thought I would just do this as a sit down. I don't have any footage for you because I was in so much pain. It happened very quickly. We just had to get that baby out. So I don't have any footage to go with my story, but I thought I'd still tell you what happened because people are asking me, how did the labour go? Tell us what happened, give us details. So I'm going to do my very best, and I'm going to do this as quick as I can so that I'm not boring you too much. It's a really poor setup, I'm really sorry. I've got all the lights off because the baby's rocking in his chair. When he wakes up, I will have to bring him on camera and hold him, but at the moment I've got a few minutes to myself, so I just thought I would quickly set up and do it this way. So it all started. You saw the video, well, maybe, hopefully you saw the video where I thought I was going into labour because I had my show, and I was in hospital, and they just said that I was in early stages of labour. That was on the Friday night. And I went back home. I was due to be induced on the Monday, and on the Sunday night I started getting pains which felt like trapped wind, but in my pelvis. Like, I felt like my pelvis was going to explode. It was really horrible. I can't even remember how horrible. I just remember I couldn't get into a position that was comfortable. I was literally tossing and turning and holding myself, and I didn't know what to do. I went to the toilet, emptied my bowels, came back into the bedroom. 10 minutes later it happened again. In fact, I don't even think it was as long as 10 minutes, but it happened again. I went to the loo, thought, okay, I'm just emptying my bowels again. Went back into the bedroom, and about 3 minutes later, happened again. This time I went into the loo knowing full well that I had nothing to get rid of. I just didn't know what was wrong. And Johnny was like, "Are you going for a wee again?" And I was like, "I don't know what's wrong, I don't know what's wrong." And that was it. On the loo, Johnny heard me crying, yelling, like making all sorts of painful noises, and he came and he said, "Let's go to the hospital." And so that was it. We got in the car. On the way to the hospital, I had another one. Like, these were contractions. I didn't realise they were contractions. And I had another one, and I was in pain, and I was like, "You've got to pull over, I need a wee, you've got to pull over." And that's what it felt like, that I was just going to constantly need to wee or empty my bowels. He didn't pull over. He said, "Just go in the car," which I didn't, because I didn't really need it. It was just that feeling, that sensation. Got to the hospital. They checked if I was dilated, and I was 3 centimetres dilated, so I straight away said, "Give me an epidural," which, if you've been watching my vlogs, you'll know that that was never the plan. I wanted to have a water birth. I wanted to try and do as much as I could without pain relief, but I ended up having the epidural. The epidural I had to wait an hour and a half for because they had to wait for my blood results to come back. So they took my blood and they had to wait for the blood results to come back. I then thought I was going to wee myself, and I did. Well, I thought I did. Basically, that was my waters breaking. And then I think a few minutes later, I was like, "I'm going to wee myself again, I'm going to wee myself again," and my waters broke. It was just my waters again, but this time it was green, so they knew at that point the baby's distressed. He's pooed, he's got meconium in there, we need to get him out. It took ages to get the epidural in. For some reason, it was just not working. I think it was more the fact that I kept moving. Every time I had a contraction, I just kept moving. I was in a lot of pain. When they eventually got it in, it was like, "You're 10 centimetres, we need to get this baby out." They hit the panic button. I just remember all of a sudden, I'd gone from having like 2 midwives there to having like 5 midwives and 3 doctors. They tried a suction cup to get the baby out, and that wouldn't work. He has so much hair. Obviously, if you've seen my vlogs, you'll see that he's got so much hair, so the suction cup wasn't working. So she literally pulled the suction cup off, grabbed the forceps, grabbed the knife or whatever, and she cut me, so I had an episiotomy. I didn't feel that at all. So the epidural only numbed my stomach slightly. So there were some bits that I could feel and there were some bits I couldn't. There was a block and it was not getting everywhere that it should. So I didn't feel her cut me, but I did feel her stitch me up. I felt every contraction. I remember when they said push, and I got the baby out in 3 pushes. I remember when the head came out and they were like, his head's out, do you want to feel it? And I was like, no, I just wanted to get it done. In between every contraction, my mum was there and I was like, Mum, water. All I wanted was water, so she would bring me the water and I'd be sipping through a straw. Another contraction, gas and air. So I pretty much did this birth natural, because the epidural didn't, it failed me where it was meant to work. It wasn't really doing its job there. They pulled the baby out. The baby had the cord wrapped around his neck. So literally, as soon as the head was out, she unwrapped the cord, cut it. And then the next push, they were like, you need to really, really push hard now and no noise, because you'll use up energy making noise. Keep your mouth quiet and just push the baby out. So, so that's what I did. And I just remember doing this really, really big push. And I remember feeling the baby's body like wiggle out of me, but they took him away straight away. Literally passed the baby on. He was in the corner of the room with 3 doctors. They were trying to resuscitate him because he wasn't breathing. They were like doing this on his chest. They had a tube down his throat. I'm lying there feeling this midwife stitch me up, this doctor stitch me up, and looking across the room at my baby just lying there, looking at my husband who's next to me by my bedside, and he's just looking across the room, and I was just like, is our baby okay, what's wrong? And he was like, I don't know. They literally put the baby on my chest for like 5 seconds so I could have a quick cuddle and a picture, and then they took him away. He went to neonatal. He was there for a couple of days. He had a tube out of his nose which they were feeding him through, a tube in his belly button. He had antibiotics going into his feet. So I had a private room while he was there. And I had to go visit him when I wanted to visit him. I could visit him anytime, but that was kind of hard because I was trying to recover as well, and I was sore. Oh, forgive me, tired mum. So that was very hard, because I wasn't able to see him much, and when I wanted to, I was like, I just don't have the energy to get out of bed and move. Even now, over 2 weeks, and I'm still sore, I'm still recovering, the stitches are still kind of fixing their way up. So it was a traumatic labour. It was 4 hours though, it was between 4 and 5 hours. It didn't feel like that at the time. It actually felt like it went so quickly. But it was horrible. The contractions were just like big waves. I remember at one point they couldn't feel the baby, and that's when they said to me, you know, we need you to like be still and let us do this because we cannot feel your baby. And it was basically because his heart rate was going from like 180, and then I'd have a contraction that would go down to 50, and then back to 180, and then 40. He was strangling it. Like every time I had a contraction, the umbilical cord was strangling him, and he was stressing out. So that is it in a nutshell. It happened very quickly. It was very intense, and my baby boy was born not breathing, and that was scary. But he's here now, my beautiful little boy, and yeah, I'm still recovering. And right now I'm thinking I will never do this again. But I probably will, because everyone says that, don't they? I want him to have a sibling. But yeah, just appreciate what I've got. Oh dear. I'm so knackered. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just yeah, Yeah, I was lucky to have a short labour, but it wasn't by any means easy. It was very complicated, and we nearly lost him. So I am very grateful for the midwives and the doctors that were there that helped keep our baby alive, and who were there for me and helped me. And that is pretty much my story in a nutshell. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can comment below, leave them in the comments below, and I will answer them. If I get enough questions, I might do a labour and delivery question and answer. I'm sure there's things that people will ask me that I haven't mentioned. So yeah, I'll leave that with you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this. And I am sorry, like I said, about the setup, and I'm sorry about the no makeup and the real casual filming, but I'm kind of just trying to get this in while I've got a few minutes to myself. I'm going to now have myself a cup of tea, then I'm sure the baby will wake up for feeding. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you all again very soon. So yeah.